Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another round of Tool Talk, or, the Handyman channel, or Coffee and Questions, whatever. We're just having a good time today. I'm going to pan around and I'm going to show you some tools in a minute. Somebody said, you have some of these tools are as old as time, dude. Why do you even bother? You should upgrade. You should do this. You should do that. And I told them, well, versus, I have tools that will really do the job. They're adequate to do the job. And in my mind, it's versus what I want or what I would like to have. Do you want that shiny brand new tool or whatever else? And it's not necessarily the case. I don't need it. I have tools that work. Yes, they're old, but they still function and they still work really well. And then there's times I fall into that trap. Well, I already have like so many drill bits, but like lately I was out at Harbor Freight and I picked up a Warrior set of I think they're split tip or whatever tip titanium bits. I thought I would give them a try. I have plenty of bits, so it's not like I absolutely had to have them, but I went ahead and got them because of the deal that I got with a 25% coupon, blah blah blah. And you sit there and you go, well, that's okay, every once in a while you treat yourself to a little fun and go buy something that I didn't necessarily need it, but I wanted to try it and I wanted to do a review on it. I wanted to know for the future, are these good bits? If they are, I would continue to buy them in the future, and if they're not, of course I won't. And then I'll continue to buy, the higher quality ones that I get online. So, you have those thoughts that run through your mind. The other thing, like we were talking on the forum, going back and forth, I also think of in terms of efficiency. Somebody said, well, you could have gotten away with this little flux cord, buzz box welder, as an example. I'm saying, I'm not criticizing anybody that's got one. Yeah, I might have been able to do that. I had one when I very first started playing around. And like I always say in my videos, I thought I was a horrible welder. I really did. And I was at a friend of mine's shop. He had a high-end Miller. And he goes, come here a minute, let me show you. In 15 minutes, he showed me a few things to do, gave me some scrap steel, and I was amazed at the difference. I thought, wow, I'm not that bad. I just have a bad welder. So I spent quite a bit of money, up to close to, I got a pretty good discount and whatever, but I got the Miller Matic 211. I keep mentioning this, but it's the welder that I ended up buying after doing a lot of research. It cost me close to $1,000. I've never regretted it. It's a fantastic machine. The people at Miller, I had to call them a couple of times about questions. I got right through to tech support. They answered my question. They're good supporters of their product. There wasn't any long waiting. I mean, all this other positive stuff. But the point being, does it make me more efficient? Yeah, it does. I have 220 capability. I never use flux cord anymore. I have a roll of it in case it's a lightly windy day and I got to do some welding. But what's the question? Is that tool, me spending that much money, going to make me more efficient? Yes, in what I do and the hobby and the things that I sell on the side, the answer is yes. In that case, it's worth buying. So, it kind of becomes, how important is speed in doing things? Well, if I'm doing like a lot of hot dog cookers like you've seen, or I'm doing a lot of coat rack hangers like you've seen out of horseshoes, it's efficiency and speed both. It becomes very important to me because I can, if everything's pre-cut, I can go like a production line and weld out like a whole bunch of these and get them ready to ship at lightning speed, or at least what I feel is very fast compared to if I was using some, real lower end buzzbox flux cord welder. So yes, and yes, it is important to me, and I evaluated it that way before I went and actually read and researched, what I ended up buying. So I should answer your question. Well, you can ask yourself another question. In buying, let's stick with the welder for a minute. In buying and spending that much money on a welder, is it going to make me money? Yeah, it did. If you want something because it's a hobby and it's just nice to have, yeah, go buy it. That's a good justification. That was part of it when I made the decision to buy this welder. The other part of it was, is it going to make me money? Yeah, because I'm able to produce these products faster and ship them out faster. Now, I don't want to just pick on the welder. You can say that what I'm remarking about is almost any tool. You know, all the way down to the Harbor Freight little magnetic trays. Instead of getting them for free, there's a couple of times, you know, I bought them, especially the big one. Is it something I had to have? No. Does it make me more efficient? Yes, because it keeps me better organized for small parts and stuff. I throw them in there. So the same philosophy applies to a wide spectrum of tools that you have in your shop. I'm just telling you kind of mentally how I evaluate things, you know, before I go ahead and buy them. So another thing is, we were talking about hand tools. Let's talk about wrenches and sockets and all kinds of stuff like that. And I want to refer to the Den of Tools for a minute in the Bear. He did a thing where he went around to a lot of places and he bought a ratchet. O'Reilly's, AutoZone, Pep Boys, Lowe's, Home Depot, Harbor Freight, you know, on and on. And he basically broke them. And then he wanted to see how the return policy was. And then he gives you a commentary. I would tell you to go over the channel and watch that. But here's the thing. Let's pick on Snap-on for a minute. You're going to spend an enormous amount of money to get one of these nice quality ratchets. And that's versus one that I can get cheaper, let's say Pittsburgh out at Harbor Freight, or you know, it could be a Cobalt one, I don't know, but we'll do a big cost comparison here. You save one hell of a lot of money. And is it going to do the same job? Yes, it will. It's going to do the same job. And so the thing is I'd rather spend my money efficiently. I want a good quality tool. And I want one that's going to have a good warranty on it. So when I got my ratchet set, I went over, I think it was AutoZone if I remember, and it was either AutoZone or O'Reilly's. I've got the receipt inside. Anyway, I bought the Duralast. I ain't got nothing bad to say about it. That thing has had no problem whatsoever. And the guy behind the counter said, we have you in the system. If anything breaks, you crack it. Anything goes wrong that you don't like in that tool set, walk in with it. We'll give you another replacement. No questions asked. Now, my experience, I don't remember how the Den of Tools was, is no problem. Okay, I walked in one day as a test. I go, hey, I think I messed up my ratchet. He punched it up in the computer, said, bring it in, we'll swap it out. And I was like, okay, well, I'll see if I could fix it first. I kind of lied. I just wanted to see and test out the theory. And, you know, so for me, it's very close by. It's convenient for me to take and refund something or get something back like that. So that's another reason why, you know, I bought that Duralast set. So I stay away from tool trucks because I've got a friend of mine that's a mechanic. The tool truck comes around. The guy is like, you know, always pushing for salesman of the month, and I'm your best friend. I can help you with credit. Here, let's get you this nice, shiny new toolbox that you probably can't afford or barely can. And they hook you into buying it with some enormous interest rate, and you'll pay for it 3 times over before you're done. And some of these guys, I mean, to me, it's just snake oil salesmen. I mean, you know, they're selling you stuff because that's their job. That's how they make their living. I get it. But they're selling you stuff at a horribly inflated price. So I don't have a high opinion of tool trucks. If you have a good relationship with your guy, I think that's great. But it's just an opinion. So, I mean, what do you take away from that? Well, all I'm trying to tell you is invest your money in a smart way. And it's going to make you money. And it works for you, okay? And just buy smart. I mean, I guess. I mean, that's my point. Do I follow that philosophy, though? Yes and no. If I have a tool that I'm using intermittently, step drill bits out at Harbor Freight, I did a video on those. I use those intermittently. I go and I buy those. They work fine. They work perfectly fine. It's one of their better products, I think. Now, if it's a tool I'm using all of the time, let's take that MIG welder. Okay, then I'm going to buy the upper high-end brand, because I know that the quality is more than there, and I know that the support is more than there. So I don't always buy the cheapest thing that's out there. I mean, I evaluate how I'm going to use it, how often I'm going to use it, and do I just need an inexpensive tool that will work for me, or do I need something really top quality and I'm willing to pay the price? But I never get hooked into payments, interest rates, and all of that. But I'll save up my money, paycheck by paycheck like everybody else, until I have enough, and then I go out and I buy it. The MIG welder, like I said, is one tool. Another one is I have a wood lathe I'll show you here in a few minutes. And I have drill presses. Some of them are made by Delta. Some of them are made by Rigid. You know, these are probably midline. I mean, they're not industrial use, but they're damn good. And those are the tools that I use very often. So I do spend and invest the money in much better quality tools. There's a question, well, if I don't want to spend like this large amount of money, I can always get a better deal off, you know, like eBay, Craigslist. Yeah, those things are true. Check the pawn shop too. But it's a buyer beware situation. You have to know what you're buying, be able to test it out. But yes, there's nothing wrong with doing it that way. A friend of mine and I, we went and we bought his welder that way. The guy upgraded a welder in his shop. He wasn't advertising it that well. I went, looked at it, played around with it, and I knew a few things that we could do to it to make it perform like it was new again. The guy dropped the price a couple of times while we were there. A friend of mine bought it. We brought it home. We did those things. It's a fantastic welder. So yes, you can find good deals in these places. You just have to be patient and keep watching and looking. Now, somebody made a comment like, which is a little off topic, but hey, you know, what do you think about air tools, you know, versus these battery, you know, power pack tools, like especially when we start talking about, you know, impact drivers and stuff. Well, you know, look, I have air impact tools. I know a lot of people have that Milwaukee M18, you know, impact driver and stuff like that. Now, I have cordless drills that have the battery packs in them. But when it comes to the impact stuff, I stick with the air ones because I'm an intermittent user of them. And you get more oomph out of them, I believe, in terms of air tools than you do out of, you know, the battery pack ones. But it's just an opinion. I managed to pick up at an estate sale an assortment of these air tools, and they work perfectly fine for everything that I do now. Other people can disagree. They work on job sites and so forth. It's faster and handier, you know, to have the Milwaukee M18. I agree, but that's not me. So again, it depends on what you're doing and what works for you and what fits in what you're doing. All right, folks, so I'm holding real still here. Now, this is an anvil that was my grandfather's, my father's, and it kept being handed down to me, and it was built in the 1900s. It still works, I mean, and I still use it, and it's the one that I used until my wife got me this one right here that you see. And I got that as a gift, and it works equally fine. I mean, I've used this old one all the way up until, well, I got this new one. And now I kind of use, you know, both of them, and I won't get rid of this because it's got memories attached to it. I sit and think about, look at all the work that this thing probably dealt with from when it was new all the way up to me having it, and like I said, I still use it. This one here, I mean, I enjoy using too, but like I said, it's a new one. So both tools can do the same thing. This one I got by with for years and years and years till I got one of the nice to have ones, right? And I got it as a gift, so that's great. Now let me show you a couple other things. Okay, now this is my wood lathe, and I'm going to show you at a couple different angles. One of my favorite tools. I mean, I can come out here, take a piece of firewood, I can make it into a bowl, I can make it into a vessel, I can make tool handles like you see here. Let me see if I can zoom in. This right here, this is the Davis & Wells bandsaw. I rebuilt this. I saved it from the scrapyard basically. It was built in the mid-1930s. I researched the color, I tore it all apart, had the parts shipped out, had new bearings, had everything, you know, just redone, I mean, totally, by a person that does what they called old iron restoration, and they were in Los Angeles. But I really enjoyed having this. I won't be getting rid of it for quite a while. It's another old tool that it still works. It works perfectly fine. It's actually better than some of the new tools that you can buy today on the market. Okay, so this is the Home Ec toolbox. Fairly large size toolbox. I'm not a mechanic or anything, but I was glad that I bought this one. I did. I paid a little over, I think it was $240 or $250 for it. And I'm really glad that I got it. The drawers slide easy. It's a very adequate toolbox. And what I consider low end or high end, probably somewhere in the middle. Let me zoom in, you can... there's a zoom shot. I don't know how well it'll come out. I am playing around with this new Canon Vixia. Anyway, so that's another garage sale item that I got. I didn't go out and buy all of these things retail. Shot here on the oxyacetylene setup I have. I paid about $40 for the tanks, the cart, and the cart was all messed up. I brought it home, got a brand new set of gauges for it, took the tanks out, got them filled, repaired the cart. Not a bad deal. Alright, so we are at the tail end of the video. I'm just going to wrap it up with a couple conclusion remarks. My point is, like I said, I mean, there are tools that will do the job and tools you can fish around between garage sales, pawn shops, Craigslist. I don't know, you run across good deals on them. I will always throw up online anything I feel is a great tool for you to own, but it's always a matter of what's nice to have versus do I really need it, and does it make me more efficient, does it make me money, all these things I talked about in the beginning. And the answer to a lot of things is yeah, because I would not be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to do some of this stuff if I didn't have some of the tools, and not all of them are brand new. Some of them, like I said, are as old as time and I still use them, okay? Well, simple stuff like this, but you gotta have a way to heat it, you have to have a way to bend it, something to hammer on. And I know a lot of these videos are always about metalworking, welding and stuff like that, but it's what I get flooded with the questions, you know, most of the time about. How did you do this? How did you do that? What tool did you use? Sometimes, for the most part, truthfully, it is all simple, basic tools. I might have to work a little bit more with them to get the end result than if you bought some fancy new tool, but they work for me. We'll start doing some woodworking videos coming up just to mix it up a little bit. So I hope you click subscribe. I hope you drop me a comment below. Give me some thoughts on things maybe that you want to see. We'll keep doing how-tos. We'll keep doing tool reviews. I hope you folks have a great day. See you in the next day or two. Bye-bye.